Okay. Find Andy. Come on. Yeah. Parkour.
I've always wondered what makes this guy,
Come on. God, watch the nipples, Kevin.
this guy,
I fell in the sand trap.
think that he can do this.
Truck to refrigerators to dumpster, 360 spin onto the pallets, backflip gainer into the trash can.
I mean, I couldn't do that. Could I?
Truck to refrigerators to dumpster, 360 spin onto the pallets, backflip gainer into the trash can.
Yeah. Parkour. I'm right behind you. Parkour.
It was a dummy the whole time, guys. It wasn't me. I didn't jump off there. Don't jump off roofs.
Lord, bear me strength.
I'm not really sure what my responsibility here is.
You can count on me.
Anyway, the point is, probably not a good idea on Andy's part.
Parkour.
Everybody loves the parkour intro. Stay tuned to the end of this video, because I caught up with the stunt coordinator of the series and spoke to him about this. Gossip is the premiere of the 6th season of The Office, and is episode 101, meaning that it has some real meat.
It'll all be gold.
Wrapping up the first 100 episodes of a series is a major benchmark. The longer any show runs, though, the more risk it incurs with jumping the shark. And just like Michael dodging the camera,
Jump over the camera.
Lieberstein, the showrunner now, gossip director and writer, had the job of managing the tone and the direction of this mega hit.
I don't get it.
And I always love that this is the line he wrote for himself.
What are you guys talking about? I have a daughter. How could I be a virgin?
And in a lot of ways, all of season 6 is a return back to the day in a life of a paper company feel to the show.
See those files behind Kevin's desk? Go put them all in random order.
But as a season premiere gossip, as is the case for most premieres, the story's somewhat framed around the office staff's off-season activities.
I learned that if you look even the tiniest bit like Jet Li, Michael will call you Jet Li all summer.
Julia Stiles.
Alan Thicke.
In Gossip, Lieberstein gives us a perspective of the sad interns to both convey the passing of time and frame the narrative of this episode.
He didn't do anything sexual. He just made far, far too many Monica Lewinsky jokes.
In fact, a lot of deleted content from this episode is about the interns.
It's not like I had them dig a ditch or anything. I simply had them go to the bank, get out a couple hundred pennies, and search for old rare coins.
We're sorry.
Sorry, sir.
Well, sorry's not good enough. Because you know what? The cake was for you anyway, idiots. So enjoy it without your candles.
And even some memorable moments that made the final cut.
Why would we call you at night?
Well, now you can't call me at all, so problem solved.
You're gonna regret that when you find yourself between a moose and her cubs at night.
I love that Discount Julia Stiles is in a deleted scene from the job fair episode in season 4, meaning that Oscar just couldn't talk her out of working in the exciting world of paper. This actress is still working and getting a lot of parts, so maybe Julia Stiles will someday be Discount LV Yost, or just LV. We don't get much of what the main staff was up to over the summer, but in real life, during the off-season, Helms starred in the movie The Hangover.
Oh my God. My lateral incisors, it's gone.
Which blew up, virtually doubling the box office opening of The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which thrust Helms into the spotlight. There was a lot of speculation on how The Office would use Helms in upcoming storylines with his new surprise stardom. And this is what they went with.
Michael, am I gay?
I'm speculating, but I think that this is why they keep putting Helms in central roles.
Sweet 401.
Those movies also thrust this guy into the spotlight as well.
We didn't catch your name last night.
Mr. Chow. Leslie Chow.
Who had previously acted against Agent Michael Scarn in the improv class in season 2.
He told me he couldn't show it to me, but he has a gun.
I should probably also mention an interesting connection that I didn't talk about yet. Helms and Baumgartner actually went to high school together at Westminster. They were even in a couple theater productions together. Speaking of Cornell though, We get Broccoli Rob mentioned here again, something that always has an interesting tale to it.
Was it Broccoli Rob? Someone from Kai Sai? Or did you run into someone from my high school?
But let's start breaking out the gossip from this episode, starting with the rumors that are true. 2 of the interns are dating.
What are you talking about?
Stanley's having an affair.
You told everyone I was having an affair.
And Pam is pregnant.
She's gonna hate being a mom.
The last 2 of those, we as audience members aren't really shocked by. There was speculation after the company picnic episode if this sequence was meaning that Jim and Pam were pregnant, but
maybe you should look in the smart part of your brain.
Right, I don't know how people miss that, but I always got it. As for Stanley, there's been plenty of evidence that Stanley the Manly isn't the most faithful husband. I'd like to point to the Lonely Hearts Club from the last season. But for the deeper meaning, let's break down the false rumors, what they mean, and what the point was.
What does a bean mean?
Someone please explain it to Cap.
So the setup's pretty simple. Michael's feeling excluded from the gossip.
I don't get it!
He stumbles onto the juicy case of Stanley's infidelity.
Drugs?
Making out.
Okay.
Michael seems to have no perception of the harm he's doing, though.
You might be ruining his life.
And with that, he comes to the point that I'm sure most of us have.
You can't put words back in your mouth.
There's a lot of things I wish I could take back, but you just can't.
Talking about Jim and Pam, if they're having sex, what it looks like. I know.
Michael.
I think, hey.
And then this episode's third act runs with a conference room sequence that makes us feel as though we're back at home with these characters.
Would you consider
Nope.
taking that bullet from me?
As well as to introduce season premiere newcomers to insightful information about who these characters are.
Congratulations. That's really great, you guys.
Don't vaccinate it.
Who's the father?
So let's break down these rumors, and for simplicity's sake, I'm going to organize them by what I find humorous least to most. And we'll also see a trend with how Michael came up with these. So first up, Kelly's anorexic.
She's an anorexic.
While Michael doesn't seem to actually know what the phrase means, but it does feel a little mean-spirited to spread a rumor about that, which I get. I mean, it's cringe. But as Pam so delicately says later in this episode,
Why did that come into your brain?
well, we have to ask ourselves, how did Michael come up with this rumor in the first place? Well, it's probably from years of knowing Kelly and her desire to be thin and popular and famous.
Why did my temporary boss go on a shooting spree?
But it probably also comes from this episode.
I hate dieting. I hate it so much. I hate this worm inside of me.
So next is Aaron's a bad worker and is probably going to get fired.
Really?
Yeah.
Once again, the show presents us, the audience, with the meta moment, inviting us to chime in on how we feel about Aaron's presence in the office. This episode does mark Kemper's first credited appearance as a main cast member, rather than just the preceding episodes in which she was just a guest appearance. Kemper's first big break was getting rejected as a cast member for SNL. She auditioned against Kate McKinnon, who I once met in an elevator in Vegas.
You wearing a thong? What?
And Audrey Plaza. Kemper's second big break was getting rejected for a role on Parks and Rec, which Greg Daniels was running at the time. Her first rejection helped pick up some attention from some casting agents, and her second rejection got her a follow-up audition for the bright-eyed Aaron. According to Kemper, they originally only had her contracted for 4 episodes, so I do think the writers were seeding jokes like this.
Do they not like me though?
I don't know, actually.
To really see how the Office fandom responded. It's not really until Scott's Tots that Aaron really feels like a mainstay in the series for me.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Make a dream come true, yeah.
Anyway, if I didn't lose you when I said Scott's Tots, the rumor Michael makes up about Aaron also feels a little mean-spirited, and, like Kelly, this one seems to really hit on an insecurity of Aaron's.
We are going to have to let you go.
Next up is the rumor that Oscar is the voice of the Taco Bell dog.
You think I'm the voice of the Taco Bell dog?
This was a dated reference at the time of this episode, which makes it even better. I did a little digging, and Oscar Nunez was not the voice actor of this character.
Por favor, drop the chalupa.
But he is the voice actor of Pepe from Bob's Burgers.
You're right. No one will miss him.
No, Pepe, that's not what I meant.
Again, this one gets a little chuckle from me. It hits on Michael's racial insensitivity, which, it's cringe. In a good way or a bad way, I don't know, it's subjective.
Sí, señor.
Next up is Angela's rumor.
The fact that she apparently is dating an 81-year-old billionaire owns a Quiznos on the turnpike.
See, this is the first one that feels like it actually could be true.
Is he some sort of secret genius?
We know that Angela likes a sense of security.
You're always safe with me. I'm a very good screamer.
And is not really a risk taker.
Angela's not really a risk taker, and Andy's not really a risk.
And the two guys she's dated in the series so far are both well off. Dwight's a financially stable man who owns his own beet farm.
It's a nice little farm. Sometimes teenagers use it for sex.
And is the top salesman in the company.
Blood alone moves the wheels of history!
And then Andy, who comes from a long line of wasps.
So long it leads back to Moses.
So once again, Michael seems to be hitting on something that's real. He understands that Angela wants to be with someone who can provide for her. He doesn't really get her choices, so in his mind, Dwight, Andy, and an 81-year-old man who owns some Quiznos are really all in the same ballpark. A quick one here, as we never really do know what's going on with Creed.
If it gets out, they won't let me scuba. If I can't scuba, then what's this all been about? What am I working toward?
What's Creed need scuba for? I don't know. Maybe some people just like to scuba. Maybe it's also about Nessie.
The reward for its capture? All the riches in Scotland.
Why Michael chooses asthma for Creed? I mean, it's possible that Michael thinks that that's just something old people have. I don't really know, but leave a comment if you have an idea. As for the J.Crew model thing,
I spread the rumor that somebody here was a J.Crew model, and I was referring to myself.
Hearing Michael say the word vapid properly in context is pretty great.
A lot of people think that models, even though they're very attractive, are somewhat vapid. It set our industry back quite a bit.
I love the idea that he tried to spread a rumor about himself, and then it morphed into the more believable Jim.
Way beyond my vocabulary.
I know where this is going.
Do you?
No.
I saw this picture of Krasinski all gussied up the other day. I thought it was relevant to share here. I got nothing. Next up is Dwight's rumor.
You told people that I use store-bought manure.
You could just see the hurt on his face. It's difficult to watch, yet it's hilarious. Dwight takes his manure sourcing very seriously.
Do not throw it! Do not! Ow!
Even showing his boss where the manure comes from.
When I showed you where my manure comes from.
Not really sure what that was supposed to mean, but again, it's evident that Michael's keen in on someone's soft spot. Then let's move on to Toby's a virgin rumor, which is just from this one line.
What are you guys talking about? I have a daughter. How could I be a virgin?
Which doesn't need much of an explanation. It's more interesting that someone might believe it. Then we have Kevin, with Brian Baumgartner pulling off this line with precision.
Who's been saying that there's another person inside of me, working me with controls?
Clearly no one outside of Kevin is bothered about this one because they probably didn't believe it. But it does give me some Men in Black vibes. And hey, I was in that movie.
My name is Newton. I run the place. Seen any aliens lately?
And lastly, we have Andy. Sweet, sweet, insecure Andy.
Michael, am I gay?
Michael hitting on something again that he's perceived as a sore spot.
The one true rumor, and this is going to ruin this person's life, is that Andy is gay.
And the ride we take with Andy here is an awesome up and down and up and down, and then it's resolved.
Okay, I made it all up.
What?
Even the fact that I'm gay?
Yes.
Yes. But then right back to it. Oscar's line gets me too.
If you resisted Brad Pitt a little bit, he would still need to get to you.
So much good stuff. I mean, the message here, obviously, is that gossip's bad. Never really leads to anything good.
Hey, what up, Cynthia?
But I also think it's a testimony to Michael's ability to kind of understand people and what makes them tick. That's where he's getting these ideas for these rumors from.
And you're gayer than Oscar. Boom, roasted.
Boom, roasted.
Anyway, let's rate this one.
Do you like it as much as you like men's butts? What? Because you're gay?
This is the worst.
All right, so let's start with the cold opening, which we have suspiciously talked very little about.
Parkour!
This is a classic one. Great physical comedy, it's grabby, and again, it plays on an outdated pop culture thing. I did catch up with the stunt coordinator for the whole series, so let's hear what he had to say about this stunt.
Well, you know, that show's very spontaneous. Like when you're
you know, on set and they're shooting, you know, they use like a handheld camera. So you got to be careful because they're moving around. And if you're in frame, you know, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? So you got to be on your toes. Burrell and all those guys, they were doing all that running around, jumping off the walls. And, you know, a lot of stuff didn't make it to the cut, but man, it was hilarious. You know, they you know, Ed wanted to do the jump and they all, you know, and we're just insurance reasons. We're like, no, you know, we got to back them off. And, you know, they did a lot of that funny stuff themselves, but that's where I came in and I did that jump. I think it was about a 20-foot jump. And it was kind of unpredictable because we really didn't know what was going to happen with that. Because we literally just had a refrigerator box. I put some little pads in the bottom of it. I taped up my ankles, you know, because it was you know, I wasn't sure after 20 feet jumping into that box, you know, what my ankles were going to do. But, you know, it wasn't that bad. You know, I kind of nailed the target.
And you can hear more from him. I'll release this entire interview later. Andy's stunt double jumping into that box, A+. 5 out of 5 for me. I love it. There's not a time in my life that I don't jump over something and yell parkour.
Parkour.
As for the episode itself, this one waves the line between fine and great.
When are you free?
Sorry?
The sequence with Michael, Jim, and Pam where Michael makes this statement.
How long have you known about the pregnancy? A week? A month? A year?
It's amazing, and I don't think anything up to this point made me laugh as hard as this sequence with Michael and Cynthia.
Hey, what up, Cynthia? Just hang on a second, Cynthia.
It's so well done, so much fun, pure office goodness. I do think that this episode suffers from a B plot with the interns.
If they get married before I do, I'm gonna kill myself.
As I think that it just drags the pacing down a bit.
What are you talking about?
Further, I actually feel like this episode's a filler, which is a bold choice for the season premiere. It might have been Lieberstein's way of circumventing the stress relief effect. Or not. It's entirely possible that it's simply their way of reintroducing these characters to us again, and for all the new people who would likely sign on for the first time to watch The Office season premiere. Which is likely the case, as this premiere was up almost 2 million viewers from the company picnic episode in season 5. All up, the good far outweighs the bad here. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5.
Did you like it as much as you like men's butts?
But that's just what I think about Gossip. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments along with the comment contest. Tons of Office ahead. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.